Topic 2. Lesson 6. The Herodians. In the politically volatile landscape of first-century Judea, where Roman imperialism cast its shadow over every aspect of life, factions arose to navigate the turbulent waters of power, faith, and survival. Among these groups were the Herodians, a political faction whose loyalties aligned with the Herodian dynasty and the occupying Roman authorities. Though mentioned sparingly in the New Testament, their significance lies in the intricate and precarious role they played in maintaining stability in a land teetering between rebellion and submission. The Herodians were neither militant revolutionaries like the Zealots, nor guardians of Jewish law like the Pharisees. Instead, they occupied a pragmatic middle ground, seeking to protect their privileges by collaborating with Roman power. To understand their position is to unravel a story of compromise, ambition, and the challenges of navigating survival in an occupied land. The Herodians' identity was inseparable from the legacy of Herod the Great, the founder of the Herodian dynasty. Appointed by the Romans, Herod ruled Judea from 37 BCE to 4 BCE, cementing his place in history as a masterful, if ruthless, politician. A man of vision and cruelty, Herod embarked on ambitious projects that included the renovation of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, transforming it into a wonder of the ancient world. Yet, his reign was marked by paranoia and bloodshed, including the execution of members of his own family. Herod's power rested on a delicate balancing act, appeasing his Roman patrons while placating the Jewish population he governed. Though nominally Jewish, Herod's Idumean heritage and embrace of Hellenistic culture alienated him from many of his subjects, who viewed him as a Roman puppet. Upon his death, Herod's kingdom was divided among his sons, and the political cohesion of Judea began to fragment. By the time of Jesus' ministry, the once mighty Herodian dynasty controlled only limited territories, such as Galilee under Herod Antipas, while most of Judea fell under direct Roman governance. It was within this fractured political climate that the Herodians emerged. Their name reflected their loyalty to the Herodian rulers, but their identity was defined by their role as intermediaries between Rome and the Jewish elite. For them, survival and influence depended on upholding the status quo. The Herodians were not a religious sect, but a political faction, composed of elites who supported the Herodian dynasty's collaboration with Rome. Their motivations were rooted in pragmatism. They believed that stability could be achieved only through alignment with the Roman authorities and the continuation of Herodian rule. By supporting the Herods, they secured their own positions of privilege and influence. However, this allegiance came at a cost. The Herodians were often viewed with suspicion and disdain by the broader Jewish population, who saw them as complicit in the subjugation of their people. Unlike the Zealots, who championed violent resistance, or the Pharisees, who sought to preserve Jewish identity through strict adherence to the Torah, the Herodians prioritized political expediency over ideological or theological purity. To many, they symbolized the compromises made by those willing to trade sovereignty for survival. The Herodians' presence in the New Testament is marked by their opposition to Jesus, a figure whose teachings and growing influence posed a potential threat to the delicate balance of power they sought to maintain. While the Pharisees opposed Jesus primarily on theological grounds, the Herodians were concerned with the political implications of his ministry. Jesus' proclamation of the kingdom of God and his popularity among the masses had the potential to destabilize the fragile peace under Roman rule, drawing unwanted attention and retribution from their imperial overlords. This shared concern brought the Herodians into an unlikely alliance with the Pharisees, as recorded in the Gospel of Mark, 12:13-17. Together they attempted to trap Jesus with a politically charged question: is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? This question was a calculated effort to force Jesus into a no-win situation. A yes answer would alienate his followers, who resented Roman taxation, while a no answer could be used to accuse him of sedition against Rome. Jesus' response, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's," masterfully sidestepped their trap. With this statement, he affirmed the separation of earthly and divine authority, challenging the Herodians' pragmatic worldview while leaving them with no grounds for accusation. The Herodians' support for the Herodian dynasty and Roman rule was rooted in a pragmatic assessment of power. They recognized the futility of resisting the might of the Roman Empire and sought to preserve their influence by aligning themselves with the prevailing authorities. This pragmatism, however, placed them in an ambiguous moral position. While they enjoyed the benefits of Roman favor, their collaboration alienated them from many of their fellow Jews, who longed for liberation and viewed the Herodians as enablers of oppression. Unlike the Zealots, who embraced the sword, or the Essenes, who withdrew from society to pursue spiritual purity, the Herodians chose a path of compromise. Their strategy reflected a broader tension in Jewish society, the struggle to balance faith and identity with the realities of living under foreign domination. The Herodians occupy a nuanced place in the story of first-century Judea. Though they played a relatively minor role in the Gospels, their presence highlights the diversity of responses to Roman rule and the complex dynamics of power and survival. For the Herodians, the path of collaboration offered stability, but it also carried the moral cost of aligning with an oppressive regime. Their interactions with Jesus underscore the broader tensions of their time. While the Herodians sought to protect their political interests, Jesus offered a vision of authority that transcended earthly power. His teachings challenged the foundations of their pragmatic worldview, pointing instead to a kingdom rooted in divine justice and truth. Today, the Herodians serve as a reminder of the difficult choices faced by those living under oppression. Their story invites reflection on the moral and spiritual costs of political expediency and the enduring challenge of navigating power in a world fraught with compromise. In their tale lies a broader lesson about the tension between survival and principle, a tension that continues to resonate in the complexities of human history.